5B. Listening and speaking. Listening. You will hear 5 different people, friends of a man called Jack, giving their views on the theater. Choose from the list A to F what each speaker says. Use the letters only once. There is one extra letter which you do not need to use. Speaker 1.
Jack and I work together in Springfield. I'm his boss, actually, but we often socialize after work. He once invited me to go with him to the town theater. A production of Euripides, the Bacchae, I think it was. Classical Greek drama. I wasn't sure at first, but I was carried away by the performance. I live in Aldershot, about 50 minutes from Springfield by train. Fortunately, the town theater is only 2 minutes from the train station. So it is possible after work to get a bite to eat in one of the reasonably priced restaurants there, see a play, and still get back home to say hi to my husband before midnight.
Speaker 2.
Jack has often tried to get me to go with him to the theater. He once got me a ticket to see a production of Stephen Sondheim's Sweeney Todd at the town theater. I'm afraid to say I didn't turn up. I'm sure I really wouldn't have enjoyed it. The thought of sitting through a musical, well, it leaves me cold. Maybe it is about where I'm from, but the idea of people suddenly bursting into song on stage is just plain weird. I just could not take it seriously. You know what I mean, don't you? I would go to the opera, though. Now that's more like the real thing. That's proper culture, isn't it?
Speaker 3.
My cousin Jack invited me to the town theater, and I was impressed. The theater complex is a whole new entertainment experience. In the summer, there are always theatrical events outside by the river. Throughout the year, there's live music, jazz or a string quartet playing in the foyers. There are great bars and restaurants. The shows are, of course, first class. You get to see some of the biggest names in the business. You know, your Kevin Spaceys and Nicole Kidmans. Jack somehow always manages to get the best seats in the house for $10. Best value for a night out in Springfield, I'd say. No, the world.
Speaker 4.
I must admit I was very skeptical and reluctant to go at first, especially to go to see a musical. Coming from a working-class background has a lot to do with it, perhaps. But Jack was a friend, so I suppose I went along at first so as not to disappoint him. To please him, if you see what I mean. Jack can be very persistent when he has an idea in his head to do something. However, the first performance we saw was excellent. The acting, the singing, the set and design, all fantastic. Well, that was 15 years ago, and we still go to the theater on a regular basis. Come to think of it, I suppose I have a lot to thank him for.
Speaker 5.
I have been a theater fan for as long as I can remember. Jack and I have known each other from school. I met him at the drama club, and we've been friends ever since. I remember we used to read Shakespeare, Beckett, Miller, and Wilde, or spend our evenings at the town theater. But that was long before I settled down and had kids. I'd love to see more theater, but I have more responsibilities these days. When you have a wife and 2 children to think about, you don't have so much spare time for yourself.